Hi, this is Tom Wakechild. This is in reference to a question that arose from the Ending Fear is Your Responsibility, 2 Rails, 1 Goal newsletter, the ACIM letter number 1. And it was a question the person had felt that they had been abandoned by God. So I wanted to respond to that a little. God really hasn't abandoned you. You've just basically, when we come here to time, space, in this dimension, this fear-based world, there's a tendency for us to forget what we really are. And God doesn't abandon us. We just have a problem remembering what we truly are. We've been indoctrinated into a fear-based thought system. There's nothing wrong with you, but there's something wrong with the plan. We're seeking to try and find happiness or inner peace where it can never be found. And that's within the fear-based thought system that the society or our ego has picked up. And the fear-based thought system is based on the idea of lack, limitation, and sin, the idea of separation, that you're not perfect, whole, and complete. And in our quest to understand what we truly are, in our desire to actually reawaken to the truth of what we are, and to demonstrate that, or to be love-informed, as the Course in Miracles might state, we need to be able to find out if we can do it in time and space. It's easy to be a holy man on a mountain. The question is, can you do it when people in town, when people are cussing at you, swearing at you, kicking sand in your face? That's what we're here to demonstrate and to learn. So we've been taught that we're earners, not learners. And we're trying to find peace and happiness in this fear-based thought system and expecting it to come from outside of ourselves. So what we have to be aware of is that we're all on our own perfect path, and we have all the time we need to get it right. There's no requirement that we get it right in this lifetime or within the next 5 days. We've been around since the beginning of time. Okay, so it's never too late to learn new lessons. And often one of the things that we can do is we can learn new lessons just simply by changing our purpose. It could be, in this example, that your lifetime or this lifetime is meant for you to realize that in this fear-based thought system, there's nothing that you really want, that you're not of this world, that you're a spiritual being having an earthly experience. Could be the idea that you realize that you're not the body and the body is you. It could be all kinds of reasons that you're here. We're all on our own perfect path, and we need to become more like Thomas Edison, with the idea of being a continuous learner. We need or seek problems for the pearls of wisdom, the learning opportunities that they provide. So there are no victims and there are no victimizers. We're all willing volunteers trying to reawaken to the truth of what we are. And God has not abandoned us. On the big picture level, we can deny God's love. It's flowing there continuously. But the denial of that love, not being open to the acceptance of it or feeling abandoned, is your story. We can deny the truth that God is only unconditional love, but that does not stop the flow of that love towards us. All that we need to do is to reawaken to that awareness. And really, it's a question of reawakening to the truth of what you really are, that in this world, although you cannot control all the circumstances that life throws your way, because that's done on a mass collective conscious basis, but on an individual basis, you're always able to determine for yourself how you're going to respond, how you're going to choose to interpret how that you're going to apply the principles that you've decided will guide your life into these specific circumstances. In time and space, in the world of physicality, we do not always have liberty of choice. Liberty of choice would mean that we'd have all possibilities available to us, anything that we wanted. In time and space, we have limited choices. You have a situation, you've got 5 options. You've got to choose one of those 5, and they may all be bad options, but it's for you to always decide how, under those circumstances and facts, you're going to choose to try and use the principles that you've decided to govern your life, how you're going to apply those in that situation. And so one of the things that we're here to learn is to realize that I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created me. Nothing sources my experience but me, and nothing can cause me to lose my own inner peace unless I choose to allow it. So when you look at life, and I know in my situation I was very suicidal whenever I was younger. As a matter of fact, being raised a Catholic, I kind of made a pact there was with God, and it was where I tried to stack the tables, and I didn't want to trade my current hell for a permanent one, because, if you commit suicide, according to the Catholics, you go to hell. So what I said is, I'm going to, and what I did for a number of years was, whenever I was going to school, I would say to myself or to God, I'm going to walk at a certain pace. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue going at this pace, and that you protect me. Okay, if a car is to hit me, that's okay. It's for you to protect me, God. And I was born and raised in Detroit, and one of the streets that I had to cross without stopping was Woodward, which was a main street in Detroit. So it was a very busy street. Cars would stop, they'd swerve, but I never got hit. I eventually learned God never abandons us. We're all on our own perfect path. And we just have to realize that sometimes when life throws a lot of circumstances our way that we feel that we didn't want, that there's a learning lesson for us. It might be just to get to the point where we're sick and tired of being sick and tired, so we start looking at trying to overthrow our indoctrination, our beliefs that we've been brought up to believe about ourselves, like that I'm not worthy of love, or that love has to be earned. These are all potential beliefs that we have that we need to unlearn and realize that God is only love, that this world is not made by God. As the Course in Miracles says, if God made this world, it would be cruel. That this world of perception, okay, because this is a world of perception, which means it's been filtered through our beliefs, are created on a mass collective consciousness. We've come to this fear-based planet to find out for ourselves if we can live the principles of what we truly are and what we believe in a world that offers us both love and fear, the idea of opposites. In this case, it's a fear-based planet. We've seemed to find very little unconditional love, but that doesn't mean that you still can't be love-informed. So whenever you look at your world and you're 70, you start saying, well, it's time to start checking out. And you start reflecting. It's never too late to reawaken to the truth. My last lifetime, as I lay dying, and in this case, I was being frozen, or I was freezing to death, I was able to reflect and realize that my life, I had made some major mistakes, and that as I laid there slowly freezing to death, that gave me the opportunity to reflect and to say, next lifetime, I'm not going to just let Big Brother or the party tell me what I'm to think, that I'm going to, as an individual, protect my own cognitive abilities, that I'm going to make my own decisions, and I'm not going to abandon or let my life unfold through default by me not making a decision and letting other people or society tell me what I am or am not to believe, do, or be. So it's never too late. On my deathbed, it was a point of, well, it wasn't my deathbed, it was a freezing field. But even at that time, there still was a learning lesson that I could get. Now, in my case, and in time and space, we all really commit suicide. It's just that some disguise it better than others. So what I mean by that is that there are no victims, there are no victimizers. Death is just us, our consciousness leaving the body. And whenever we decide that the energy that we need to keep on being in this material plane, okay, to keep that body token, or the game token we call the body alive, that's just, it takes energy, and sometimes we decide that the energy needed to keep that thing going isn't worth the learning lessons that continuing on this plane can provide for us. So at that time, we pull the silver cord and check out. But we still exist, and what we do is we are now available to use our energy to, again, help reawaken to the truth of what we really are. So we're always on our own perfect path. And so be like Edison. Edison, after he had failed over 5,000 times to create the light bulb, and somebody asked him, give up. God obviously gave us whale blubber and kerosene to light our world. He said, I have not failed at all. I have successfully identified over 5,000 ways that will not work, and that puts me 5,000 times closer to the one that will. Edison constantly failed his way to his success. He looked at himself as a continuous learner, and that's what we're here to be. So even at this point in time, if you just change your purpose from seeing yourself as an earner to a learner, that's tremendous progress that you've made this lifetime. So there's never been anything wrong with you. Might have a bad plan, and one of the things that we're here to learn is to wake up to the fact, hey, we've got a bad plan. So there's no guilt, shame, or blame in whatever you do. You're always on that perfect path, and you've got all the time you need. So if you want to take a side trip and visit the Grand Canyon while you're on that adventure, that's no problem. Okay, so just be aware that God has never abandoned you. You've just forgotten the truth of who you really are. You've just chosen to temporarily deny the flow of God's love and to realize that you're here to grow and learn, and we need those problems to help us on our way. So just go in peace. Namaste.